Hey there, so I am up here checking on the seedlings. I wanted to give you a little update on how things are doing. We've got lots of stuff coming up, a couple kind of surprise things that have been interesting. And I'm also going to fertilize all of these guys today. So I'll show you how the fertilizing is going. So it's all been going pretty well. And there's one thing I need to replant today. My amaranth, my kitty cats actually got in this room and dug up a little bit of the amaranth. So I need to replant that. Everything else is pretty much coming up as I expected. I think it's been a little cooler in this room than in my usual seed starting room. So things are kind of going a little bit slowly, but we're starting to see that first set of true leaves coming in here. And so I can finally start doing a little bit of fertilizing. And I imagine that that is going to help with some of the growth, like on the coleus and the petunias, because they're still pretty small. It's been a couple weeks since they've been growing, and they're just still pretty small, but starting to kind of get those second leaves. So let me turn you around and I will give you the full update, and then we will water and fertilize and all of that and make sure that they are all set. Okay, so this is the tray where I have all of my kind of annual flowery things. So these are all the little coleus. You can already tell the differences in the colors. Some of them are more of those like reds, and then we've got some of the greens. This is the lime thyme over here, which is super bright green, nice and big. And then over here we have the petunias, and there's a little bit of difference. Like this petunia is doing really, really well. This is an easy wave yellow. And then some of them are kind of taking a little bit longer to get going. Now, I've got a couple cells that the seedlings kind of just nothing came up. So this is a easy shockwave and an easy wave yellow. I may just run down and grab a couple seeds of other things that I want to get started and just pop them in there, or maybe do a couple more coleus in there. Maybe that's what I'll do, is run down and get some coleus seeds and just put those in those places so that we have something growing. I just don't want to have any empty seed trays because space is such a premium. And what I like about the cups is that it's super easy if you want to switch it out and plant something else in one of those cells. It's just a really easy switch. So those are all the flowers. How cute are petunias? Like, that is the cutest, tiniest little seedling. It's wild to think that that's going to grow into a huge, vigorous petunia plant. It's just so great. And down here, and I need to take this cell tray off, down here are all my eggplants and peppers. And if you remember, I also planted some millet. And look at this millet. I should have known grasses are always so vigorous and they always grow so fast. So I might have to move the millet to a different place, because look at how huge they're getting. They're just absolutely massive. But that's all right, and not really any growth. A little bit, you can see the very first starting to sprout of the peppers. Peppers kind of take their time, so note to self, never grow millet with peppers, because you can obviously tell there is a huge discrepancy. And that's just, again, something that we learn every year. We are learning new things, and I am always constantly learning. So I'm gonna just probably end up putting these in a different tray with some faster growing things, but for right now, we will just fertilize and get them ready. Down here, let me pull this tray out. I need to water these badly. But these are some of the very first things that I started, and we have a little mix of results. So, let me pull the whole thing out of here and we can look at it. So here is my sea holly and some herbs. I've got a little bit of foxglove over here, and let's see what this is. I think these are the impatiens. But then you can see absolutely nothing happening. This is where I seeded gomphrena. I don't know what it is. I am just not able to get gomphrena to sprout. I have had horrible luck year after year. I think this is my last year where after this, I just give up. And I'm not going to try to grow gomphrena anymore. So I'm going to run downstairs and get something else to plant in these seed cells as well, because we are just not going to have empty seed cells. We'll put something else in here and use that space. But over here we have the eucalyptus, which I did up pot, and it's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy. I think I lost one, but everybody else is doing okay. And then this is my seed cell where I just sowed all of the tomatoes. Nothing coming up, but some of the, this is the cosmos that is sprouting. I can see that over there. So again, cosmos are going a little faster than the tomatoes. So I'm going to go ahead and water this whole setup, and then I will do a little bit of fertilizing. All right, so this is the fertilizer I use. It just is from Park Seeds. It came with, it's what they recommend for seedlings when they give you your seed trays. So it's really nice. You just use a teeny tiny bit per gallon of water. Excuse my nails, I need to get them done. But it just use a little bit, and it's really nice because I feel like it never burns my seedlings and it seems to make them really happy. So this is what I'm going to be using. I just mixed it up with a little bit of water, and I always water my seedlings first so that they are nice and the water's just fully saturated. Sometimes when they're really dry, the water kind of runs off, and so I just want to make sure that any of this fertilizer really seeps in and that they're really able to absorb it. So I like to make sure they're really well watered. And then once they've got those first set of true leaves, all these guys are starting to get those first true leaves. This is the time to start fertilizing. This guy's a little bit, they're not quite ready yet, so I won't really put any fertilizer on them, but they have their first true leaves. This has their first true leaves, so they're all ready for fertilizer. Fertilizer is really super, super important. If you don't fertilize your seedlings, they just won't grow at all. So it's definitely something not to skip. And you can get any kind of just sort of like basic general fertilizer and just really dilute it because you don't want to burn your seedlings. They are teeny tiny. They don't need like a full strength fertilizer. But definitely worth it, even if you just like run to a big box store and grab some kind of just like general fertilizer. The liquid fertilizer is the best because you can really keep track of like how you're dosing it. And I fertilize mine once a week, and that seems to be just perfect. Okay, let's go pick out some seeds for those empty seed trays. This is always fun. I was actually just looking through my seeds this morning. So I think I'm gonna re-sow some of this. This is the Hot Biscuits amaranth. It's this like really pretty kind of like caramel colored amaranth. I think that'll be really neat. I am actually gonna go ahead and sow a little bit of bouquet dill. I've never started dill. I'm trying to think if I've ever started dill inside. I don't think so, but dill is really pretty, and I just love the scent of dill. Oh my gosh, I think it's just one of the best smelling things around. So I am going to add a little bit more dill. I think I'm gonna do a couple more of these coleus if I have room. And then I'm gonna see, I'm either gonna do chocolate cosmos or one of these basils, but we'll make a game time decision. Okay. I ended up having room to do some of the blue spice basil, which is a really beautiful kind of ornamentally styled basil that has really beautiful flowers. Pollinators are gonna love it. That's gonna be a really fun one. I emptied out all my seed packets, all the seeds that I had of the chocolate cosmos. I'm so excited for these. I think they're gonna be really, really gorgeous. And then I ended up doing a little bit more of the colocha, I don't know how to say this. Coleus? Let me grab it. Coleus sunset, so that'll be really beautiful. I just put a couple more seeds in some of the empty cells, and I did a little bit of the bouquet dill as well, and some purple petra basil, which is going to be another both decorative and also culinary basil. But I love the purple basil because it's just it's just a little bit more decorative and interesting, and it's really easy to get a lot of green foliage in your garden and have your garden end up being just so much green. So this way it won't really be as green because at least some of the basil will be kind of purple. So that was nice and fun. You know, if something doesn't come up, don't worry about it. Just plant something else. And I do try to keep an eye. Now watch, of course, that gomphrena might all come up in the middle of all my other plants, but I don't think so. I just have had such bad luck with gomphrena. It just doesn't seem to grow well for me at all. So we're just not gonna worry about it. I will just buy my gomphrena. I love the truffle pink gomphrena that Proven Winners does. It's always at the garden centers. It's such a good one. So I'm just gonna grow that, and we'll grow other things from seed. Anyways, thank you so much for hanging out for this little update and kind of impromptu seed starting, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye-bye.